Welcome to Team Athena's post-Leipzig chat. We're joined with, what's his name? Darren and from Canto Cousins, who both went, and Goodson's not got around as well. Might be joined...
Ow! Just got my fingers on the table.
You are not safe.
Oh! Did it hurt?
Oh!
Yes!
Oh, we might be joined by Simon and Scott later, but we'll see how that goes. So how was the event, guys?
The event was fantastic.
Yeah.
It's as far as the events go, it's pretty well run.
Yeah.
The rounds were on time. It started a little bit late, but it wasn't nothing to complain about.
To be fair, I thought they were pretty slick because I was rather worried when the actual email came out, because it's the DreamHack thing was have to get there for 10, registration finishes by 11:15. We start at 11. 9 rounds. We're closing a hard close on the building at 10. And it's like,
yeah, that was my own complaint really. Like on the first day, because I made day 2, they did, due to time restraints. The next day they closed at 6, so they had to do round 1 of top 32 that day. So it's like 10 p.m. Really fucked out of my mind. Just like
it's about 9 o'clock, wasn't it? It was like we're gonna have to do one round quickly, and like literally everyone was just like, "Yeah, ID." I'm really hungry. Like fuck this. It's just
top 32. My opponent, I was going to offer the ID because Darren and that had to go because spectators weren't allowed. So I was going to offer the ID, but the judge came to me and said my opponent would be given a game loss for his sleeves. So I'm like, I have to play it. Out.
You've got to take that.
Yeah, it was against Lycan Zorok as well. So it's like, God, it was a really bad matchup. So I took it, and I did win, but he did take game 2 off me.
So we were pissed off to the Chinese all-you-can-eat whilst he was playing because we were hungry.
It took me fucking 40-odd minutes to find him again.
Look,
I was lost in Germany.
I was still chewing salt from my sacking out dead draw of my last round.
Yep.
So I needed food and beer.
Was it the standard Darren Jacks losing the winning in?
Pretty much.
Basically, I went 0-2, and I was getting really pissed off because I literally just like draw pass for the first 4 games of the 2 matches to go 0-2. Then ended up getting 5-3. So I pulled it back and I was like, oh, I can't. The things I couldn't even ID because we're looking at the numbers. My resistance was crap. So if any 5-3-1 did bubble in, it wouldn't be me. And I think 1-5-3-1 bubbled into top 64. So I had to play. And there was a possibility. So it basically turned out that if I win, I guaranteed top 64. If I won, I was guaranteed top 64 because I couldn't ID, and I might bubble into day 2. I think 1-6-3 bubbled into day 2. But again, it wouldn't have been me because my resistance was shit because I just went 0-2 in the first 2 rounds. So, but yeah, I literally the 2 games of it was actually the guy that beat Tubbs for day 2 in
London.
London, wasn't it? The guy, and I literally just dead drew both games, and it was the Guardi mirror as well. So
Yeah.
it was like, oh great. I was like, yeah, draw pass.
Interestingly, I've just stumbled across a decklist Tumblr, and one of the first thing that turns up is literally God of War GX Turbo won the top 16 Leipzig Regionals.
Yeah.
I probably should have introduced that I was playing Guardi Silvio on.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that.
We both.
Yeah, he played my list.
He played my list. Yeah.
Shut up.
I changed one card, then changed it back again, so it's my list.
Cool. Ooh. Shakes fist angrily.
So how did you both end up? So
I ended up 5-4. So I'll go first because Tubbs had the goodie. I ended up 5-4, 0-2 to start with, ended up 5-3, and then just dead drew the last 2 games to go 6-3 with a possible day 2. I think the most annoying thing I had was the guy that I lost to when I went 5-3. So I was 5-2 and then went 5-3. He was playing Buzz Lycanroc, and I literally, again, all four of my losses were just dead draws, basically, just dead draw in every game. And he said, "Oh, you'd have won that if you'd have played Mew." I was like, I just looked at him and said, "No, I'd have won that if I hadn't have dead drawn both." It was like, why would I play Mewtwo and Guardy for the Buzz matchup? I just have to attach energy and I smash you in the face.
I was about to say, surely you play Gardevoir and Gardevoir for the Buzzball matchup.
So I was just, at that point, I was pretty triggered anyway because I just dead drawn another 2 games. And I was like, no, I think if I'd actually
Did you say pretty triggered? You're about to pull the guy's head off. Surprised it wasn't a mass shooting.
What, going post? So that was the highlight. That was the most annoying highlight, was that guy telling me I'd have beaten him if I'd have played Mewtwo in Guardy when I just dead drew both games. So, whatever, mate. I think my weirdest game would have been that guy when actually, to be fair, it was when I was 2-2. So the guy had already won 2 games. Oh, that was great, but we'll come on to that. Literally, the guy playing Mega Mew with Kiawe. And he was like 2-2, so he'd actually won some games. It's like Jesus. The Mew. He started like the old Breakpoint, is it, or Breakthrough Mewtwo?
Yeah.
Break. And I was like, and I was like, right. And then it was like, attach Spirit Link. It's like, when earth are we going with this? Kiawe, 4 fire energies onto it. Oh, that's where we're going with this, is it? Then it was my turn. Kill Blower.
Did you then just proceed to go Lele DCE choice band?
I actually, I'd gone first and I'd started Rolts and not much else in my hand. Aww. And I literally had a Guardy and a DC and an Energy, but not much else. And I top decked the Candy, but I had a Blower in hand. So before I evolved to the Guardy for the knockout, I just blowered his Spirit Link off just to trigger him a little bit. Candy, Guardy, DC, attached, dead. So, and that was it. He had something on the bench and he just tapped his deck. He didn't speak much English and just went. Game 2, and then game 2 went pretty much the same way as well. That was the quickest and most strangest match. We'd actually won. To be fair to the guy, I'd won 2 games up until then.
Legitimate.
I'm going to see if I can find that, actually. That was like a really interesting deck.
If we were talking about this, it was just in terms of like, why on earth did he put the Spirit Link down if it was in his hand when he's with Yahweh? Surely he saved that for turn 2. You don't stick the link down if you are going to go down that route. But
you save it for when you're going to use it, don't you?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, it's hard enough to use as it is, let alone when you just misplay with it.
But then he laid his deck out afterwards, and I think he probably had like 2 of every Mew that's in format in there. He just I love Mew.
He just literally wanted just to play Mewtwo.
He just literally looked at him and went, I love Mew. It's like, no shit, mate.
Do you? Well.
But no, other than that, was really good. So
yeah.
I was day 2 though.
My day. Shut up, Darren. I'm talking.
No.
Go on, carry on, mate. I'm fine.
I need a Trubbish hat.
We're going to attach a photo of that guy.
Yeah, so my day started, I was going to be against the Zoropod matchup, but they did a massive repairing for whatever reason. Okay. So I went from table 66 to 65.
Excellent.
And I was against a Buzzwole Lycanroc. So he went first. Oh, hang on. Yes.
Evening, Simon.
Evening, boys. Evening.
I'm just going over my matchups from Leipzig at the moment.
Yeah.
So round 1 was against Buzzwole Lycanroc. He went first, game 1. He had just attached to his Buzzwole and passed. I started an Eevee, attached a Fairy, did a Bridget, did a Magical Ribbon, all that sort of stuff. He attacked. I searched myself for a DC and I Fairy winded him. He attacked again, and I Fairy winded him again for game. Game 2 went exactly the same way. He just sort of he took a prize. I think he took 1 prize off a benched routes because I couldn't heal it again after I max potioned it the first time. And yeah, just Fairy Wind sort of ran through him, really. Took game 1. Yeah. I actually got that from you, Pike, because you said it was pretty good. So I decided to give it a go.
If all else fails, Fairy Wind.
Yeah. Game 2 was against... what? I can't think now. I can't remember, but I won that one. Game 3 was against Harry Barrett. He's actually from around the Norfolk area. He comes from his son. Yep.
Yeah.
And he was playing Ho Kiawe, and he actually won game 1 because I dead drew. And I was like, after losing to Seb in the Norwich Cup against Ho, I was like, no, I'm not ending this way. So game 2, he set up Kiawe again perfectly. I was slightly dead draw and I was behind. And it came down to I artilleried for 1, and I needed to hit Candy Guardi because I had a route with the DC and a fairy on it. And I hit the Candy and just swept him from there. And then game 3 didn't get Kiawe out, so went from there.
Naturally, you win.
Yeah. Game 4 was against Zonius Break, and this was on table 1. No, sorry, my second game was against Bulu on table 1, and I beat that. So that's against Zonius Break on table 1 again, and he sat down, saw my Sylveon, and was like, "This isn't a good matchup for me." I was like, "I know." Parallel plea. I actually went to time on game 3, and I won on turn 3 of time. So it wasn't as close as I'd have liked it to have been, really.
I tell you what was really weird with that one when we was watching you was the way he was laying out his prize cards. Literally all of them face up, so you could see all of them.
All laid out.
The discard pile, sorry, yeah. So it's like literally had a big long rows and rows of cards. I couldn't even tell what was his bench and what was discard because they were just laid out all over the place. We were sat there talking, like, how the hell can Tubbs tell what's the bloody bench? Because he's got a great big long row of Pokemon and God knows what else. I mean, I didn't even realise you could do that because it's really off-putting.
As long as it's like all in one touching. Yeah, all the cards are touching. Yeah, that's the rule on it.
One pile.
Well, the thing is, when I was in Birmingham, when I was playing and everyone was playing Garb, I'd have my items like at an angle, so it wasn't like piled. They'd be turned round at the bottom, so I could quickly grab them and count them. And I got told off by that for one of the judges because they weren't all the same.
You can appeal that.
There is, I'm sure that was added into their most recent rules update.
It was.
Cards are touching, you can have them at an angle or whatever. But
as long as it's one clear pile.
But you can have them
so
angled.
if someone turned around,
some judges have a bit of.
But the thing is, though, Tommy, this wasn't a clear pile. It was just a row.
It was a massive row, yeah.
It was a row of cards. It wasn't a pile of cards. So if you got your mat, there was like 2 rows of cards effectively underneath the bench, which was his discard, and he kept looking at them to try and figure out what he'd used and what he hadn't. I think
I was just so deep into the game that I didn't really mind.
I was thinking, geez, I'm glad I'm not playing this game because I'd be like Guzman up saying this in his blinking discard pile.
As long as it's killable, it don't matter.
After
that was a Zoroark Lycanroc, which I knew was a bad matchup for me anyway. And I went first. I started a route, and I had Candy Guardi, DC Fairy in hand, but nothing else. And he started Zora, so I was like, fine, I'll just pass. He attaches Floatstone, Lele's for Kukui, attaches DC and kills me. It's like, okay, cool. That was a nice donk. And game 2 was exactly the same. So I got written off table 1 pretty quickly there.
You dropped about table 12. He was quite upset about that. He just seemed to...
I was very upset.
It was like, wow.
I was on table 1 for ages.
Table 1 for ages and relegated right almost onto the second row of tables. It's like, how the hell did that happen?
The next match was against a Zoroark Glisspod. And game 1 I won because I just set a Gallade up with a Curlier on the bench, killed it, he used his GX to kill it, and I stretched it back onto the Curlier and streamed him. And game 2 I basically set up a massive Guardi and just went straight through him. So
yeah.
What was that? 5, 6. So game 7 was an ID.
Exciting.
Respectable.
Yeah.
What would you have been played against?
It was actually Volk.
Oh, okay.
No, I apologise. Sorry, that was a Volk, but I lost that one because it would play as the 4 baby Volk and 4 big Volk.
Volk's hard.
Yeah, so I lost that one, and then I ID'd the next game and won against the Zorak Glisspod in the final in round 9 to put me at 6-2-1 going into day 2.
And that left you where in the standings going into day 2?
Top 16th seed. So my resistance from being a table 1 for ages was really, really good.
Yeah. Fair.
So I knew ID would get me it anyway.
And obviously you played the first round of day 2, day 1, didn't you?
Pretty much straight away,
Which was a bit of a strange one. So I know you explained before we officially started what was going on, but to tell the rest of the people, why did that actually happen?
So because it was the end of the day, I was thinking to myself, I'm just going to offer the ID because I only needed 3 wins and 2 ties to get into top 8. And I was going to offer the ID because I was really hungry. I just wanted to go to bed. And the judge came up to me and said the guy had been given a game loss for his sleeves. So to myself, I'm just like, I'm going to play it.
He was bitching about that, wasn't he? At the table we were sat before you played. It was something to do with them being too shiny, wasn't it? When you lifted the card up at a certain angle, you could
reflective
reflective dragon shield, so you could actually see what the card was you was picking up on the card underneath it.
And what the weird thing was though is like you couldn't see them, but the opponent could.
So he got the penalty because he's actually helping the opponent.
That's a bit dumb.
It was it was really weird.
Yeah,
but they were really hot on sleeves though for the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Across all age categories.
To be fair, those juniors and seniors that were taking game losses for not re-sleeving, when they're on day 2, anyone that doesn't re-sleeve at the start of day 2, if your sleeves are slightly, you know what, I've got no sympathy.
You really should.
I've got no sympathy for you at all, no matter what your age category is. Whenever I go away, you're the same, Simon. I tell the kids to take enough sleeves for day 1 and day 2.
And day 2, we were the same.
And some spares. So I usually buy them like 2 boxes of Dragon Shield each, like 200 sleeves, just like they're in their bag. 60 for day 1, 60 for day 2, and some spares. And they always have the same colour. So sometimes I only have to buy them the one because I've got a shitload of them laying around. But it's just not worth the risk.
I know.
Yeah. No, it's not worth losing a game over, is it?
Well, there's not just the fact that you're losing the game, there's also the risk to your reputation if you're going to be regularly topping. If you've got a couple of bent corners and sleeves, they're going to walk into the next tournament and go, hey, here's a stacker.
Yeah. Something really
or check his sleeves because he was bad last time.
Exactly, you just put a target on your head.
Yeah. So that was day 1. So I was 1-0. So I only needed 2 wins and 2 ties to go and do top 8. My first game was against the guy who I ID'd to, and he was playing Volk. He won the first game. He got set up really quickly with his Volks and steam ups and just took up my rats really early. Game 2, I managed to get a Sylveon up and I plead 2 fully powered Volks into his hand.
Nice.
So I put him back about 2 or 3 turns where I was just fairy winding and taking out his baby Volks. So fairy wind is like my MVP all day.
Too right.
Yeah. So I won that game, and then game 3, we both had 1 prize each. It was come to time. I was turn 1. I end us both to 1, and all my energy left on my deck were fairy DC. Both of my Sylveon on the active, and I fairy winded his active Volk that I had gizmoed up previously that he couldn't retreat. End him to 1, and he top decks the E-Hammer, discards the fairy, the DCE, and passes. I'm turn 3, I can't attack, and I pass, and it results in a tie.
Yeah, painful.
That is rough luck. That is rough luck.
That would have been a win. The next game was that was against Jesper Eriksson. He was playing Lycanroc Zorak. Game 1, it's a bit back and forth. He doesn't manage to have my early Curlier, so I do get into a Gardevoir and a Gallade. He does kill the Gallade, and I have 1 prize left. He's got Boswell in the active, a damaged Zorak, and a Rockruff on the bench. I have Lele in the active that he pulled up, and a Guardy with 2 fairy on it. I topped up the Guzma, and I'd go for the damaged Zorak instead of the Rockruff on the bench. So I lost that game.
Misplay,
yeah. Yeah, total misplay. In my mind, I was just focusing on the Zorak. I didn't even see the Rockruff.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show that if you draw the winning card, don't fuck it up.
Gotta play it right, and
stop and think about what you're doing. It's just general life advice to anyone. And now I've done it. I've learned from it. I'll never do it again.
Especially against someone that good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he was a good player.
Imagine
and then at game 2, he swamped me. He absolutely swamped me. Game 4 was against another Volk, so I had to power my way through another one of those. Usually it's a good matchup, but the 4 baby Volk really, really hurt you early game. Fortunately, he dead draws 2 games, so I swept him. I swept him. And the last game was against the Boswell Lycanroc that I beat round 1, day 1.
And was that the guy that actually won the whole thing?
No. It was just a guy that I was keeping up with. We were chatting throughout the whole day 1. We both made it in top 32, and then we both met in the final game of top 32. So this one was playing for top 16.
How odd.
Yeah. And we said the final round that we were both the same record. As like, if we both win, we could both get in top 16 because we were getting quite friendly and getting quite chatty. And it turns out we paired against each other. It's like, oh god. Game 1 went exactly as round 1 did. Early fairy wind put the pressure on. And game 2, he actually gets set up really quickly. He starts to realise that Lycanroc is one of his best assets in the deck.
Yeah.
And he starts pulling forward the Octillery, killing that so I don't have any draw support, and then killing forward, or killing the early curlies and melts like you should do.
Yeah.
So he played it perfectly game 2. Game 3 luck was on his side again. He takes about 4 or 5 early prizes, and I remember getting the turn where he had his Zorak. He just GX'd me, so he has 2 energy on him. I had a Route with an energy on. I attached DC and Choice Band. I top deck the Super Rod with Skylar in hand, so I Super Rod all 3 Guardians back in, because I had to stick them all away early. Skylar for the Ultra Ball. Had the Candy in hand as well, so Ultra Ball Candy, Guardi. Octillery for 1 and draw the Fairy. Secret Spring on. Kill the Lycanroc. He can't respond, so I kill his Buzzwole for the last 2 prizes. And for top 16, I ended up 11th.
Yeah, major play. Well done.
Well done.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So what does that leave you on? What does that leave you on in terms of points?
That actually gave me 80 points. So I'm on 359 now. They haven't updated the leaderboards yet, though.
Maybe it's
in front of
one of those
Humphreys.
speed tournaments that doesn't count.
Oh, good. But Humphreys had 332, and I've now overtaken him. So I should be around the 30th spot for top 22.
That's why you need to go to Malmo.
Yeah.
I can't afford Malmo.
Darren will pay for his fine.
Internationals.
I'm going to internationals. Right, you need to go to Malmo if you want your top 22.
Yeah.
Georgia keeps telling me to go Malmo as well.
Well, there you go. You've been told by your women's to go. What more do you want?
Just getting me out of the house for something.
How do you ever not get annoyed with all this permission? People dream of that. Honey, I'm going to Malmo to play Pokemon. Oh no, you can't do that. She's telling you to go.
I know.
She said I'm only allowed to go if Alex goes, though. So.
Oh. No, she didn't.
Why?
I think the tables are updated, guys. I've just gone online.
Oh, they are? Let's have a look.
We'll have to have a look.
100 points.
100? Yeah, but I've got it as a quick save website on my phone.
That's interesting from what we said before. Ooh. If Guardi plays, it tends to win, but then there's always that chance of brick.
Yeah.
Oh, tell me about it.
I'm number 31. I'm 31.
31. What about the rest of Athena?
Hang on. there on the first page. I'm not very good to be on the first page. Seb is number 17 still, and Scott is number 24.
Okay, that's good performance. What about Simon Humphries?
Simon has dropped. He is now 38.
Right.
Okay.
That's still fantastic, considering.
Yeah, it's fantastic, amazing.
And it's still breaking up the Jigglypuff.
This is in Europe, by the way, not the UK.
Yeah.
But number 30 is on 362, as is number 29. So 3 points, and I'll have 28th spot.
Malmo.
So,
Alex, you just come to bloody Malmo so Tubbs can go.
I'm working. I can't get a late enough flight there and back. I've literally
no. Actually, there's a late enough flight on the Friday, but we'd have to leave super early on Sunday. So you can do it. You just be a little bitch about it.
You're just being a little bitch about it.
Yeah, Alex been a little bitch.
I'm just having a look now. They're also top 22. 22nd is 397.
It's not far away.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you're what, 359? That's what, 40 points just under?
Oh,
that's
God.
doable. That is easily doable.
That's a cup win.
Malmo and Stuttgart, Tubbs. Come on, let's do it. Let's do it. Do it.
Pike, if I'm
going to keep sending you pictures.
If you don't come Malmo, can we go to Scotland?
Oh, Jesus. I can't afford Scotland for a cup.
What, but you can afford...
50, if I get 50 points, I'll be top 22.
You can't... But you complain that you can't afford Scotland, yet Malmo's been talked about. You haven't said you can't afford that.
You know what, Tom? It's probably cheaper to go to Malmo than it is to go to Scotland.
Yeah, true.
It's like
true.
Yeah. So how was
Alex,
your
let's do
experience,
it.
Simon?
Didn't hear that, Alex.
No. Okay. How was your experience, Simon? How'd you get on? You and Freddie?
Thankfully, the 5 rounds I played, I wasn't OX.
Tell him your first round story.
That was quite funny. That was quite funny. I'd met Tommy Roberts. I'd never met Tommy before, but I'd heard of Tommy, and I'd heard he was a great UK player. And I sat down. We were obviously all sitting down, and I shook hands and said, Tommy Roberts, I've heard of you. You're one of the top UK players. So he looked at me and he went, did I see you on a webcam link with Team Athena last week? I went, yeah, I think you did. He said, are you the guy with no sick leave? I said, yeah, that's me. He said, that's good. It's all right then.
Fucking priceless.
Also, I want to give a quick shout out to Tommy, because in day 2, when I was on that top table, I come up to him because he had just beaten 2 Mill decks, and I was like, Tommy, please, how do I beat Mill if I come against it? Because I had no experience with it.
Oh, he's playing Guardian as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was playing the Broken Fire with 4 max potions, so.
Right.
And he actually made top 8, so he did really well that tournament.
Oh, fair. Yeah.
So really nice guy. Shout out to Tommy. He basically said, play it smart, play it slow, attach your energies on the bench, and whenever you can. Like, you don't have to do it straight away, you just do it whenever you need to.
Yeah.
Only basics, no DCs.
That's pretty much what we said on the other cast, wasn't it? You just got to slow it down and play it to the bench, and then take it active when you're ready to punch him in the face.
But somehow hearing it from a guy who had just beaten 2 Mill decks with the same deck makes it a little bit better.
There were different ones as well, weren't they? Because wasn't one of them the Sylveon, and one of them was the Hooper. The Hooper.
Okay.
That was everywhere. Stall decks were.
Oh my god!
During when we had the repairing round, when I was sat across, was it Stefan Eriksson?
Stefan Eriksson, yeah.
And my hand was actually lit for a Guardi start. I had EV start, Fairy in hand. He was going first though. He goes, "You'll be really glad that we've been repaired." And I turned over and said, "Why?" And he just popped up the Hooper, and it's like, "Oh, not the Hooper, the Wob." He started
Wobbuffet.
He started Wob. And I was like, "Oh, you bastard."
He went on to get 9th place, you know.
And he cut his brother absolutely no slack either. He was paired up against Jesper, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It was
Jesper and winning into top 8.
And he beat him.
Yeah, he smashed him.
Him. Yeah, it was quite funny. He's like, "Yeah, I just want to watch you squirm for 50 minutes." Which was quite amusing. But that was quite an interesting deck. He was playing like, what is it, 4 Wob, 2 Hooper, the Mew that means evolutions can't attack it, the baby Mew.
Yeah,
that's the one from Evolutions, isn't it?
Yeah, so he was playing one of those as well. So it was pretty good actually. To be fair to him, it was like, yeah, okay, that's all right. Glad I didn't have to play against it, but
yeah, I actually managed to dodge all the stuff. I was just surrounded by him, so.
Yeah, I dodged them all day long. I was surrounded by them. I kept seeing them everywhere.
Yeah. Especially when Shay and Benji from the Slowpoke Well, every time we kept meeting up, like all the UK players like to meet up and say like, how you doing, sort of thing. And Benji and Shay were both playing Hooper Stall, and they both come up. It's like 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0 and a half.
I think they both went 4-0. Did they both go 4-0 before they started getting beat?
I think so.
Something
Shay
like
managed it on top table, so he was like 4-1, 5-1, and then he managed to tie a couple and lose one, I think. So Shay ended up in 5-2-2. So
yeah,
I think
Benji was the same as me in the end, wasn't he? 5-4.
Yeah, something like that.
And he just missed out points, didn't he?
Benji was a bit unlucky because he got against stuff like Greninja Break and Xerneas Break, which just tear through his stall.
Yeah.
So it's just unlucky matchups. Yeah. Did you hear one of his opponents had to be taken away from the table because his opponent was playing Bulu. His opponent was playing Bulu, and Benji was always playing Stall. And Benji won the first game, and his opponent started going absolutely mad. He's like banging his hands on the table, throwing his cards about. The judge came over, took him away, gave him a warning, not a game loss, which is really weird, and just generally just saying abuse, saying like your deck's cancer. Literally shouting abuse at Benji.
There was the other guy as well, wasn't there? Because the other guy was going to try and time him out for a draw. He actually asked Benji.
It was last opponent.
Yeah. How long can I wait between turns before I have to draw a card?
That's
what he asked someone.
Darren, he asked a judge.
He asked a
judge, right? He asked a judge, didn't agree with what he was going to say, because the judge was like, you need to not intentionally stall, because you need to like think about playing a card. And he was like, well, how do you know I'm not thinking about a card then? And the judge said, because I've been watching you the last 30 minutes, you haven't played a single card. And so he called the head judge over. The head judge was like, I'm not having this and that. So they just stopped judging the game completely. But I'm really surprised, like, because he was hell and abuse and stuff, that he didn't get a game loss.
I stood and watched Scott play a stall deck for a little while, and both of them must have gone 20 turns without either of them playing a card. It was literally.
Aren't you glad you didn't play it, Simon?
Oh, mate, I wish I had. Some of the games I'd have had a better chance actually not playing a card than the cards I did play.
So what did you end up taking, Simon?
Pardon?
What deck did you end up taking?
Well, interestingly, I took a Gardevoir deck.
Wow.
That turned into half Gardevoir, half Sylveon, with 4 max potions, with a Vulpix, an Eevee, and a Sylveon.
It was all over the place.
It was all over the place because literally 10 minutes before we had to hand the deck list in, I'm talking to Darren and Tubbs, and they go, no, you shouldn't be playing that. You need to be playing Sylveon. I'm like, oh my god. Right, let me just amend my deck. So literally, I put a 1-1 line in it.
I know exactly what happened. You took your deck, you took someone else's Sylveon deck, you dropped all the cards, and had to quickly get 60.
Shuffle them all together.
And you all have to have the same sleeves.
It was like a Frankenstein deck.
It was funny though.
Unfortunately, I mean, it would have been a mirror match against Tommy, and we might have had a bit of a laugh. But after the repairing, I was actually repaired onto table 1. I got a photo as well because it's the only time I've ever played on table 1. And probably the only time I ever will do. And I ended up literally going 5 rounds with people who were playing Snipe, Espeon EX decks, everything that Gardevoir hates. And utterly every single game I just got mashed. It was like Bremen when I played 3 Metagross in a row.
Oh, jeez. Never lucky.
So I know exactly what I'm playing next time. It's not Gardevoir for those that get matched up with me. I've got the right deck up my sleeve. I know
It's going to be Metagross.
I am going to win Malmo. I'm going to surprise everybody.
Simon from Malmo.
I am going to be that outside chance.
So what are you playing then? Come on.
It's going to be Gardevoir, isn't it?
It's going to be Gardevoir.
It's got some form of change.
No, it's going to be Metagross.
5 minutes before the thing, change his mind and play Gardevoir again.
I'll have to keep your cards in a safe wallet with a code on it. Can't get into
Well, if you remember correctly, Cubs, we did that in Nats, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Nats last year, we all sat in the pub testing, and we were all like, "No, I don't want to play this. Don't want to play this." And all pretty much changed their decks last minute.
It was you all played Greninja. Every single one of you, except for me.
That was so bad.
All did horribly.
Watch this space then.
I didn't do too badly until round, was it 8 or 9? Basically, I filled in the form to drop, and they forgot about it. So they added me into the round, and I played against Nathan McCleary.
Yeah.
Forgive me if I've slaughtered your name. And we just literally just sort of sat there, and we're just having a laugh the whole way through. It was just like, there's no point. We're just going to be shadow stitching each other, just moving the dice about.
That was when Cotton played against both Mega Sceptars in the room.
Oh god!
The only 2 in the room, and he played against both of them.
Didn't he get
this
a
is how
round
auto
one as well?
Yeah. Round 1 and 4, I think.
Oh, I bet there were some salt-free chips there, wasn't there?
Oh,
bless his little
always.
You should have seen the culmination of the salt on the way home. That's something we need to discuss for another video.
Simon, how did Freddie do?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Freddie's best ever result. I mean, certainly once we got into round 3, I was pretty distracted because Freddie lost his first game against Sonka from Germany, who's a great player, and it was a close match. Freddie won first game, lost the second. He was up against Buswell Lycanroc. Third game went to the tie-break game, and unfortunately Freddie prized all 4 Zaruas and his 2 Glissopods. Unbelievable luck. Inevitably he lost that one, so he was a bit downhearted because he lost the game which he would expected to have won on the matchup, playing Zoroark and Glisopod as he was. So he was a bit down. Then he went on a run, won his next 3 games. So he was at 3-1, doing well. Unfortunately, again, had a tougher matchup in game 4. He lost that one. That was against Gardevoir, if I remember right. And then match 5. It went all the way to third game again. Unfortunately, he lost the third game on time on the round, so he was a bit down. He ended up on 3-2. The 2 people he'd lost to were actually placed 3rd and 4th in the top 8. We kind of half guessed there would be 1 player out of the juniors that might come in on 9 points on resistance. But we won't count our chickens, and then obviously they put the top 8 up, and Freddie was there, snuck in at top 8, came in at
very good.
Excellent.
And all the parents decided that the kids would play the top 8 match the following day because they were all shattered.
Yeah. So it's a long day for them, isn't it?
We'd heard a rumour that the guy that Freddie was being matched up against, Adam, was playing Gardevoir. Adam had obviously come in at top seed. Freddie at 8th. We spent most of the evening practicing against Gardevoir. You guys were great help in terms of giving us the pointers around picking off the Ralts and the Curlies and the Octilleries that don't go after Gardevoir. And Freddie sat down. He turned over his cards. It was Buswell Lycanroc.
Oh God, was it? I didn't even know that.
Which is great because Freddie loves Buswell Lycanroc because a lot of the juniors don't realise that Freddie's playing Mewtwo.
Right.
So Adam's first game literally got 2 of his Buzzwells fully powered up sitting on the bench. Freddie Guzman them twice and won game easily.
That's really bad play though. I know it's juniors, but you don't power up a Buzzwell if you see Mew on the bench. You only put 2 on it
Well,
the thing is, you don't know that. You don't know.
Freddie didn't bring it out until late.
Did he not? Fair enough. No, I thought you said it was. I thought you said it was on the bench. Sorry.
No. The parents don't play. They don't They don't know what to expect or anything, so they can't then teach the kids. Like Simon, and obviously hangs out with us and stuff. Like, you ask us how to play against it, or you know yourself how to play against it, and then you pass it on to Freddie. But other kids might not have that luxury.
Exactly,
that's true.
And then the semi-final was against Zoroark Lycanroc. And that's a tough matchup. Zoroark Lycanroc versus Zoroark Golisopod. And that can be who sets up first, and the use of the Lycanroc. But of course, with Lycanroc weak to
grass.
Yeah, exactly. The Golisopod can knock it out on first impression. So Freddie was hoping that his opponent would get a Lycanroc up, and it'd be an easy 2 prizes for him. And again, as luck would happen, the kid.
He was setting them up, wasn't he?
He set both Lycanrocs up. The bloodthirsty eyes that he didn't actually knock Freddie out, and Freddie was able to come back twice with 2 Golisopod first impressions, take the 4 prizes, and went to win that.
Yeah, he was. Me and Scott were watching that. The kid was setting up the Lycanrocs just to use it like Lysander.
Yeah,
he wasn't playing. He wasn't really thinking about the weakness at all. I don't think it was just I need to get something up to start hitting stuff.
Yeah.
So he was just dumping Lycanrocs down to the bench, which is just insanity in that matchup, really, which is great for Freddie, right? Because it gives him it's letting him take easy shots.
Exactly. So that's Freddie had made semis before. He'd never made a final, so he was delighted. And we went into the final. We knew it was going to be a tough matchup because he was playing Marley, who was playing Golisopod Garbodor, and that was the only Golisopod Garbodor that was actually in juniors on the day. And Marley had stuck in at 7th place. So Marley was at 7th, Freddie was seeded 8th, and interestingly, 7th and 8th ended up against each other in the final.
That can happen.
To be fair, Golisopod Garb was a good call. We actually considered, didn't we, Tubbs? Because there was so much, everything's so ability driven, but we said no to it because it suffers like every Garb. Yeah, it suffers like every Garb does deck. It dead draws, and you get into 1 for game loss, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. But unfortunately, Freddie didn't get set up in game 1. Marley did. He got turn 2 Garbotoxin. Freddie couldn't find the field blower on his turn 3. And basically couldn't get going. He said he went 5 turns before he drew an energy. By that time, Marley had already, taken the advantage and went on to win game 1. Almost a similar story in game 2. Marley hit Garbotoxin on turn 2, and Freddie just couldn't get going. As soon as you knock out trade, that's just hurt.
Yeah. That's the thing with that deck, right? Because he plays such a low Sycamore count because you're playing the puzzles and you've got the draw engine from trade.
Yeah.
If the draw engine gets turned off by Garb, if you've only got 4 ends and 2 4 ends and 2 Sycamores,
4 ends,
you're in big trouble, especially because the Sycamore, the low Sycamore count's the big one, isn't it? Because sometimes you just got to hit it, and if it's not there with Garbotoxin shutting down that trade engine,
you got nothing.
You've got absolutely nothing. Yeah. So that was a really good meta call. It's amazing to get all the way with that because
it is.
The Garbotoxin itself shoots itself in the face. So fair play to him to actually get all the way to the final with that. I mean, it's a great deck. It won Bremen, was it? Was it Bremen?
It did. So Marley won Bremen with exactly the same deck.
Oh, really?
Garbodor.
Wow.
That's interesting. That's really good, actually.
Yeah. So he was number 1 in Bremen.
That won the Masters Bremen as well, wasn't it, Mark
Lutz?
Yeah,
he's actually number 1 in Europe right now.
Is he really?
Wow.
Oh. Well, yeah, Tour didn't make top 64, did he?
No.
Mark Lutz made top 32. He was playing a Buzzwole Garbodor, but he played 1-1 Carbing Breakline.
He was using the Energy Keeper Carbing, so the Storm decks couldn't knock his basics off.
Yeah.
Really clever.
Yeah.
And Diamond Gift reattaches the Strongs from the discard if they just E-hammer them off, so really strong. Really good call.
Really clever. I mean, I'm seriously considering putting a 1-1 that into Megan's Buzz Lycanroc somehow. Because it's just a nice, and it's quite a nice basic attacker as well, isn't it? If I remember right, is it?
Not bad.
What's it hit? I can't even remember what it hits for now.
What, Carbing, Diamond Gift?
Yeah.
Yes,
20 for 1.
20 or 40.
What about the actual? What about the actual? Just the basic, not before the break.
It's like 3 energy.
It's for 20.
2 or 3 energy.
You got okay.
See?
You got 3 energy. So I'm just now looking. Yeah, 3 energy. Oh god, yeah, it's 3 energy. She's not going to do that.
Yeah, no.
Don't ever.
No. No. 60.
Must look at Marley's Glispod Garb list. I've been loving that for a while. I played it at Worlds and I really enjoy it still, but it's just maybe with the introduction of Cynthia.
I think with Cynthia,
a bit better. But
yeah, gives you some more draw, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Play like 3 Cynthia and 3 Sycamore.
Power pad recycles, yeah, Ace Rollers and stuff.
Yeah. You could drop your Ace Oiler and Guzma account down for power pads and chuck some Cynthias in, couldn't you?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I do like it. I just like Garb at the moment if you can get it consistent because it just turns off so much stuff.
Yeah.
Just cripples people if you can turn off that trade draw engine.
Yeah, it does.
I'd be thinking about it a lot more if I went to Malmo, Alex.
Yeah, Alex.
You can get a ferry to Malmo.
Alex, it's going to be your fault if Tubbs doesn't top 22.
You heard this, Alex. If he doesn't make top 22, we're all going to blame you.
Oh.
We're all going to come to your house and we're going to unsort all of your cards.
Oh, yeah.
We're just going to bind to drop your entire collection.
I think that hurt him more than, maliciously hurting him.
That hurt more
I've
than
still got 2 of his binders here.
That's true, you do actually, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, my iPad's resting on them right now.
I think bind dropping his entire collection would hurt more than making him pay for Tubbs to go to Worlds. Because he
Tubbs,
too.
Tubbs, get the kettle up.
Cost him more.
It would cost him more, yeah.
So, interesting. I think from our last chat, I think we pretty much called the meta fairly accurately, didn't we? Apart from...
Actually, we want to...
No,
we brought that up.
There was so much stall there, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Goodson, you said in the last video that if you were going to go, you would take Boswell Lycanroc.
Correct.
That's correct. And you said it either be that or Bulu that won. But interestingly, both of those decks were in the finals.
I just think when Bulu gets going, I just don't think it's stoppable. I really don't. If you can just set up, you've got your Vikbon, you've got your Bulus, you just stream in your energy with your recyclers. What does your opponent do when you're hitting 2-10 every turn?
Yeah. They go red-handed Guardian, smash it in the face.
What, with no energy?
That's what they do.
No energy.
You can't kill me.
Well, they can. They have to get extremely lucky with the Kakiris and all of that. But
the Bulus that were Leipzig all took their Guardian techs out.
Yeah.
Really?
Apart from one who was playing a Kogo GX, I think. But
I didn't see one Bulu player playing anything more than... They weren't even playing like Pheromosa. It was just basically the most basic vanilla Bulu you could ever possibly see. Even down to just playing one Baby Mew rather than 2, like me and Tubbs have been doing. Just the one. I saw one guy, he was playing 4 Bulus. A couple of the ones in top 64, top 32 were playing 4 Bulu, just to try and make sure they started it.
That's interesting.
But
I'm always a big fan of the Coco promo, for a Guardian matchup, just because that 20 damage eliminates the need for any form of Kiri. So just choice band, I forget the attack now, Nature's Judgment.
Didn't see any of those Guardi, Coco, Kukui, none of the Guardi techs were there, because I just don't think anyone expected people to be playing it. Because when we
hence why we played it.
Hence why we played it, and when people were asking us what we're playing, it's like, really? What are you playing that for? And it's like, because if it sets up, it knocks everything out. A bit like Bulu, right? If it sets up, it knocks everything out.
Interestingly, before I got repaired, I sat next to Luke Kirkham. Hi, Luke. And I showed him what I was playing. He was like, "No, that's not the play. That's not the play." And I was like, I messaged him from table 1. I was like, "I think it was the play."
you totally missed the. I can't see you from down here up here on table 1.
Nice. So, do we think the meta's going to move much for what's that place called? Malmo?
Yeah.
Ultra Prism's legal.
I don't think there'll be any Guardi there.
Oh, I've got that as a thing.
I don't think any Guardi will be there because of Nikos Mehmet. The steel.
And Glaceon shuts it down.
Glaceon shuts it down.
It's going to be very interesting. Glaceon shuts it down. Obviously, there's then going to be full of metal. Where does Volk sit in this?
Volk's still really good, but then again, like if people are hyping Glaceon,
and Glaceon shuts it down and
wins Volk. Yeah.
So
it shuts down the steam ups and smashes Volk in the face. But then do you lean towards more Ho-Oh, which is not? Do you go Ho-Oh Kiawe instead?
Yeah.
Of Ho-Oh Kiawe instead of Volk because it's not weak to water and it's not the energy acceleration not shut down by Glaceon, and it's still going to smash all the steel decks square in the face. I hadn't thought about Ho-Oh actually, and that's just sprung to mind. Edit that bit, Alex. So I think there'll be a lot of steel, which means there'll be no Guardi, in my opinion.
No, I think I agree. I haven't really tested it because I haven't tested for Leipzig.
I just can't see anyone taking a chance on Guardi with that new steel engine going to be there. I whether it be there or not, I don't know. I just don't think anyone would take a chance on Guardi because people like the new shiny cards, and it's if people haven't, if you've been testing it, you've been playing it. A lot of people there wouldn't have tested the new stuff because they've just not got access to the cards. They don't have time, so they'll tweak the decks they've got possibly and bring them. So it's
that's always a chance. Like.
So I don't know. Other stuff, there'll probably be some Garchomp there. I like Garchomp, but it's a stage 2 again, and I don't know.
Do you not think there's a play for Silvally? Because
absolutely.
With the additional fire weakness cards and the I've only opened the box today. I'm trying to remember what the extra item cards are. Gives it
lightning. It's lightning.
Fire and lightning.
The problem with Silvally is always going to be the same problem, and that it's weak to fighting. So if anyone's playing Lycanroc, it's just going to punch it square in the face and it's going down. Lycanroc, all the Lycanroc and Buzzwole decks, and Lycanroc and Buzzwole will be there. There'll be Buzz Lycanroc there. Towards list will still be there. Pram's list will still be there. So it's going to be there. If I was playing one of those decks with Buzzwole or Lycanroc in, I'd quite happily sit down in front of someone with Silvally.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
because you just you don't max elixir, 2 energies on a Lycanroc and you're smashing it in the face. It's just because you can just bomb the GX for a couple of. Yeah. You only need two benched energies, and you're going to knock that out with a strong energy. So
even then, you can potentially get the turn 2 with the Buzzwole. Can't need 2 max elixirs and attach.
Exactly.
Absorption GX. I think so.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, I really like Silvally, but with fighting types being so prominent at the moment in like the top tier decks, I don't know. I don't think I personally wouldn't take a chance, which is one of the reasons when we were testing. I know it didn't, come out to what we wanted, like the Silvally Garb because of the Garb engine. Just got smashed in the face by the fighting decks. Basically, it's just like give me. It's just an easy 2 prizes.
It wasn't even that. Like it was the Garb thing again. You just dead drew.
Yeah,
that's how it was for me anyway.
No, I got smashed in the face by Lycanroc repeatedly.
Well, I played it right then, were you?
Well, it's not my fault. I don't control the pairings. If I'd controlled the pairings, I wouldn't have paired myself with Lycanroc after Lycanroc after Lycanroc. So other decks, Garchomp would be there. I quite like Garchomp.
I think people will take a punt on Decidueye as well. Leafly on Decidueye.
Leafly on Decidueye, but then that plays into the fire deck hands. If people are playing fire, that's just going to...
It's a massive triangle again. Yeah, except it's Metal, Glaceon, Volk. And maybe like Metal / Grass.
And then you've sort of got Buzzwole just sort of come up going, hi.
It's sort of in the middle.
I really like Garchomp. In fact, if you can get that set up with a couple of Lucarios, 3 computer searches, it's really good. But 150 HP and you have to attach 2 energies. That's a lot of energies you've got to keep streaming.
Yeah.
Which could be a problem with things like E-hammers being so prevalent as well, which is the other problem I have with that. It's the E-hammer issue, so I don't know. I really don't. Which has been talking to Tubbs for like days now on Instant Messenger and whatnot, trying to figure out. I think we finally drew up a list today of about a dozen possible decks of
7.
There was like 7 new decks, and then you got like the 7 or 8 current meta decks that could win. So it's like, okay, what do we take that stands a chance against all of this? I haven't got effing clue is the answer.
What's that noise?
I don't know. I think there's some feedback from. So it's probably my awful holiday in internet.
Sounds cool.
Sounds cool. Yeah, sounds like I'm turned into a Stephen Hawkins.
Oh dear.
Man, cut that bit
He
out.
went there.
What about the what are they? What do they call them? The Ultra Star cards or something? Prism Star cards.
Stars.
I like them a lot.
I think the problem is with the Prism Star cards. I mean, obviously Cyrus is fantastic. Boost energy really isn't relevant right now. You potentially play Guardi, but I don't really see anything currently that's going to get it. The only one that's really going to see any use is Prism Star Solgaleo, I think.
And or Cyrus.
And Cyrus.
I did say that.
It's the same deck, though,
Did you?
isn't it?
Sorry.
The Giratina? Do you not see something the Giratina basic in there?
I just don't think it's much psychic, in terms of something that can use it. Obviously, I know you've got one of the biggest psychic types, in the game ever in Garbodor, but I don't really see how that'll abuse Giratina.
No.
You got I keep going back to like a Turbo Darkrai sort of list. Just like with the Prism, you play it down and attach 2 energy straight away.
You still got that fighting problem.
Fighting problem, yeah, exactly. And the other problem is it's just too slow.
I love Darkrai.
Turbo Dark used to reign supreme in a faster format, but now we're going to a slower format. It's too slow. It's just so random.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love Darkrai. If I could play Darkrai, I would. But it's that fighting that fighting weakness. It's just.
I don't think it's the fact that it's too slow. It just doesn't hit hard enough. It's a one-shot deck that works well in the X format because it can hit 180. But you now look at the rest of it. 210's a magic number now.
But you're thinking like the GX is like the 210 all evolved from 60, 70, 80 HP Pokemon that you should be able to pick out really early in the game.
The only thing that when me and Tubbs were talking about this, Tubbs raised was that with the Darkrai Prism, you can potentially get 3 energies down in one turn rather than. Because you play if you've got them in hand, because you can attach and play the Prism with 2 energies on it, so you can potentially get some energies down quick. But you're still limited to that and the elixirs and the GX, and you've really got limited bench space with the GX. You can only really do like 2 of those max in a game because you can't fill your bench.
I even tried going back to the old Dragonair build, but even that is just not good enough anymore, unfortunately.
Because you got to use DCs instead of Dragon energies as well, haven't you? You can't even.
You can't use DC because it doesn't count as Dark Energy.
No, it doesn't, does it? Is it? No, you're right. So you can't even use the DC, so you got to use...
Nope.
No. Bring back Dragon Energy. Secret Rare Special Print or something, that'd be nice.
Oh, yes, please.
We could do
it.
it.
I can play Como again.
I'd be all over Noivern GX if they released that.
Somebody fetch me my hammers.
Yeah, I'm just going to bring up that spreadsheet I sent you, that spreadsheet I created, because I can't even remember what was on there now. What did we come up with?
We didn't come up with anything too spicy.
No, we're just like literally brainstorming what we think could be there. Just like
the thing is, like, even as hard as we might try, we're never going to find a deck that beats all 14 decks that we came up with.
No. So, like from the new set, we ended up with what? Garchomp, obviously, Dustmane, Quad Glaceon, Leafeon, Decidueye, and probably Glaceon Zoroark, because people are trying to shove Zoroark into everything humanly possible. And it's like that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Plus the current stuff. But a lot that we could think of anyway off the top of our heads. It's actually, I guess, it's Persimmon as well. I mean,
we mentioned Persimmon and a sort of spread devolve deck, which features the new Fairy Lele.
Yeah.
If you're flying flipping a lot, you can attach a counter energy to the Lele that counts as the Fairy colorless cost, and then you just move it around. So you just keep flying flipping until you're behind on prizes and you've got enough damage. Attach counter energy and away you go.
So similar to that, remember that Coco Meowstic Necrozma monstrosity I brought that did quite well at locals, but literally dropping the Meowstic for some baby Leles, so you don't have to evolve and that sort of stuff.
You can just drop it out of nowhere as well.
Because people won't expect it, because you'd be playing like psychic Pokemon and just like drop a Lele and a counter energy down and then, whoo.
See ya.
Yeah.
Probably not single prize attack decks. They've got to have a place again. Just make people work for it.
Yeah, agree.
There's Persimmon. Greninja will be there. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Greninja's there. I think Joe from...
I expect it to be there.
Joe from Omnipoke said he wouldn't be surprised if it's quite popular in Malmo.
Because it beats Buzzwell or Lycanroc, doesn't it? Surprisingly.
It depends. Yeah. If they set up like Greninja sets up, then it beats anything, right? I think it's more dependent on whether they hit, if the Buzz player if they whiff an Elixir, then Greninja wins.
I don't think it's even that. Like, if they get strong Regirock early on, then they're taking out Froakies left, right, and centre. Then it's just another strong to take out Frogadier, and then another energy takes out the Greninja and the breaks. So it just depends how well they can start and keep going.
Yeah, it's just getting that energy down quickly to actually get up to 3 on something with the Buzzwell. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, Frogs will be there, but they're the only ones from the new. I'd say from the new stuff we could really thought could do something. I guess there's obviously going to be loads of other stuff like what's the other thing that's in the starter deck? Some people have been sort of big up in that, haven't they? As well as a single prize attacker that can do some big numbers. Because is that 20 for all benched?
All bench Pokemon, both yours and opponents.
Yeah, is it 20 or 30?
It's 20. The Napoleon break is 30.
So you could
break. I really like it, but yeah, it's legal. It's a promo.
Alex hasn't got one. He's like, oh my god, I haven't got one of those.
I like the concept of it, but I don't like damage that your opponent can control. They can just stop benching stuff and then parallel you.
Yeah.
So like you're hitting for like what, 60, 80.
I mean, I think there'll be a lot of parallel city after. I mean, I know it was expanded, but seeing how many decks were playing heavy parallel city counts in Dallas because of the amount of Zoroark and Lycanroc that's there. I mean, I know they're playing Skyfield, so that's why it's doing it, to limit the bench size. But limiting the bench size is limiting the bench size, and you're controlling their damage output. So if you can knock them down from like the 150, 170 to 100, 110 sort of thing, it's still annoying to them, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if you see a fair bit of parallel city floating around as well because of that.
You're right.
It keeps bouncing in and out of favourability, isn't it?
Yeah, it was massive in the States, wasn't it? So we were watching the stream. Yeah. A lot of them were just playing quad parallel city. The people that weren't playing Zoroark, Lycanroc, basically.
We're countering it.
Yeah, they're countering.
Basically, Virgin format again.
Yeah, and the other thing I wouldn't be surprised to see in Malmo is a 1/1 muck line in a few things because of all the Hooper stall and things like that. Because there was so much of it in Leipzig, and if you can drop that 1/1 muck line into Zoroark, Lycanroc, you can turn off Volk, you can turn off Hooper stall, you can turn off late game Lele's for game, and it's quite annoying for people. So I wouldn't be surprised if that pops in to some stuff as well. That's my thoughts anyway. Now I've just got to decide what the hell I'm going to play.
Tell us how you really feel.
And what 3 kids are going to play as well. No pressure. 2 weeks time. 2 weeks is it? 2.5 weeks?
Yeah, 2
weeks. Yeah, Alex, you got 2 weeks to get off work.
Oh Jesus. Well, maybe. Wait for
so let me know where you work. I'll write a letter.
So what you're so I guess like
I'll get my daddy Goodson to write me a letter.
I'll just be like, dear Alex's manager, please allow him to have the time off. We need to go and play trading cards. Love, Tom.
He's been a naughty boy and can't come out to work. So
grounded.
Malmo, I know it's like 50-50 whether you're going to go or not, but what are your thoughts on what we're going to see?
It's going to be Dustmane across, man. It's just it's the spoon-fed card. Like every set has a spoon-fed card, and you're just like, here, this is good. Eat this, play this. So Dustmane and Magnezone. Same as like Buzzwole or Silvally last set. It's like, this is good. Play this.
It's like Guardian
before it, Gliscod before that. Yeah. Lele and Guard before that, and Decidueye before that. You know, it's just every set has it. I think Glaceon's going to be really good. Or personally, I think it's overrated, but everyone else is really hyping it. So, yeah.
Well, you've only got to look at the card prices to see who's hyping it. 15 quid for a half up.
That's mental.
Nuts.
Get it from me at £9.
And you sold out?
Yeah. That's why. I think, like you say, Garchomp's going to be there. Whether it'll be there in big numbers or small numbers, I don't know, but it'll definitely be there. I think Zorak, Glisspod will stay there. Good Angel will be there. Paw Patrol will be there. It's going to be, again, like Leipzig, it's going to be a massive array of decks. You've just got to be at least 70% of them.
Yeah.
If you come against a bad matchup,
you have stall decks as well. I wonder if you're going to start seeing Wobbuffet come back in.
You will, because Palpad really helps.
Palpad's good.
And that Mars card, just draw 2 and discard 1 from their hand, I think that's really good as well.
Yeah, but what Darren was saying, when you see the little text of the load of muck, what does Wobbuffet do to you then?
Well, exactly.
You know, I think that's a really, really useful tech, because you're shutting off all abilities anyway, so what is...
Shut off Hooper was really big.
Yeah, exactly. And you just allows you to steamroll straight through.
It's a stage 1 though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
It's a stage 1, but you know what? You play a 1/1 line, and you only if you're playing it in Glisspod, Zoroark, or Paw Patrol. If you're not playing against a stall deck or someone or Volk, you just trade it away.
Just throw it away.
Yeah.
Just trade it away. It's like playing 3 Bridget, right? You only need 1. The other 2 are just trade fodder.
I think if your players are going into the new format, you've got to be aware of Glaceon, because that can just shut you out.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know how you go around it, because if they play Quad Glaceon, they're only going to leave 1 in the active, and you can't get rid of it. So I don't know how you get around it, but you've got to be aware, or even build your decks around the fact that you can't just keep trading into what you need.
Yeah.
You've got to expect to not be able to trade. Put it that way.
Be interesting.
Yeah. Better start testing, even though I'm not going.
Let's see what will go through Glaceon then.
Steel. This is
Red
the thing.
Steel and Choice Band goes through it.
True.
It's interesting though.
120 for 1.
Yeah,
Reggie Steel, Zoroark.
Oh boy. Don't add that to the
I'll step away. I'll step away from the kitchen. Yeah, that's why I'm never allowed in the kitchen.
That's why you're banished to a Holiday Inn.
My only kitchen. Well, it's not a kitchen. There's a kettle. So that's it.
That's what you're allowed. That's
what I'm allowed.
Spice you little.
Right. I'm just looking at the card text on Glaceon. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, your opponent's Pokemon GX and EX in play, in their hand and in their discard pile, have no abilities.
The Garchomp just rips through it.
Oh, gotcha.
Garchomp smashes it in the face. This is one of the things we were talking about earlier on. Is out of the main decks, Garchomp smashes them all in the face if it sets up.
Just
but
a little interesting. Sorry.
Because it's not affected by Glaceon. You can't get Glaceon stored by it. It's not weak to it.
No.
I don't think Guardia will be there in any massive numbers. It's bound to be there by some insane people thinking they're going to dodge the sheer volume of Necrozma that's going to be there. But other than that, it's not weak to anything. That's going to be, which I see in being the top table decks. And it hits everything. If you're constantly streaming that Cynthia with Choice Band, it's hitting 230. So it's smashing a lot of stuff in the face.
Just as an interesting little rogue deck, I was just sort of having a think, because you mentioned Bridget, trade target. Pretty much every deck now is Bridgeting, ideally turn 1, isn't it? It's trying to evolve. But would, as, you know, the sort of the crappy rogue deck, the Fight Alone Lucario do anything? Just think about it.
I've tried that on so many occasions.
Well, you think about it, the logic is there. I mean,
absolutely.
I haven't got the balls to play that at a big tournament. Just sitting on like one Pokemon with just like such a limited bench, knowing if as soon as I get to take a knockout, I'm done.
Well, no,
you've got a really good idea though.
Alex would play it. Scott would play it. I just haven't got the hooness to play it.
If they flip Riolu, they're going to think it's Garchomp Lucario.
Yeah. You then just evolve it. You just Elixir, evolve it, do whatever you need to do. I think Bug of the Talonflame engine that people were playing, they literally just play 4/4 Lucario and like nothing else, and then you can just use that as you can play as stall, you can play it as all sorts of different ways of doing it. That just sort of keeps you on top of your opponent, and you're hitting like an absolute truck.
That's true, actually.
I've already received a Facebook message from Darren. Give me a list.
Does it say?
It's it's true actually what you said though. If you flip and start that, they're going to think it's Garchomp, aren't they? They're not going to think it's Fight Alone Lucario.
Yep.
And they
are now.
Yeah. Well done.
I've said it.
Well done, Tom. So if they come against any of us and we flip Riolo, they're going to know it. It's not Garchomp, is it?
Maybe it's the double bluff that I'm covering you so you can play it. What about your back, boys?
We'll wait till it attaches energy. Attaches counter energy.
Or just attaching energy full stop to it is going to be the giveaway, isn't it?
Yeah.
And not attaching it to a Gibble.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Just that Garchomp. Why do I put energy on there? His hand must be shit.
Well, I was speaking to Simon Humphrey the other day regarding the Garchomp, and he said, why don't you just play a 2-2 split of the new Garchomp and the old one? Because the old one, obviously, alright, you ignore the bite off 3 X's, but it attaches any energy from discard pile to one of your bench, if I remember correctly.
You don't ignore that bottom bit because Volk EX is still a thing.
It's one hit KO Volk.
Yeah, no, fair.
And Espeon and the other. There's a couple of others being played, but I when I've been testing it, we've tested it 3-1, and even I'd keep it at 3-1 because of Volk. But if Volk wasn't the thing, I'd just go to a straight 4, because when we were testing it, quite often Ryan would have the wrong one in hand. If he had the new one, it was game, it was done. But he had the wrong one in hand.
Yeah.
But that's the so going to 2-2. Nah.
No, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
The thing is, even if I was hitting for weakness on your Zoroark or whatever else, I'm still not taking a knockout. 60 base, choice band, 90. You're swinging 180. That's just not enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's in there purely for me for energy recovery.
And let's play Regirock EX.
Or strong energy.
Oh god, shoot me. In a dragon deck.
Because that'd be even worse, right, Tom? You'd know you'd have like the only energy in hand would be the strong when you got the fairy type Garchomp down.
That's alright, it'd just be me opening a hand of 4 Garchomps, a Gibble, and then nothing else I could use. I'd just be sitting there like, well, this was a good idea at heart.
On paper, this was awesome.
Exactly.
Wow. So, any further thoughts, anyone on Leipzig roundup or Malmo upcoming?
So we do our predictions.
Yeah, I think Tom safely won the Leipzig bet, so...
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's although this one's just going to be much tougher, just simply because there's the unknown factor of what else you've got. I mean, I'm actually going to probably be boring and go with a Leafeon Decidueye victory.
Okay.
Really? I'm going to get even more boring and say a Dustmane victory.
Wow.
Well, if where this is going on, I might actually take a fire deck then, because the way you guys are predicting it, I should be laughing.
You should be until both Simon and Alex both go Glaceon.
No.
I take Quad Ho-Oh.
Okay, I'm going road deck, Mewtwo, with Kiawe.
Oh, gee.
What, that guy that I played in Germany? He's just getting ready for Malmo.
Not just that deck, but that guy as well.
That guy.
You wait and see. Mega Mewtwo, Kiawe, job done.
Are we putting fivers on this?
I've got 100 quid on this one, you Simon, right?
Oh, there's an odds of like 124 to 1, so it's like quids in if he wins.
Yeah, no.
And Alex?
I think a guard is going to sneak in.
Wow.
Bold.
Wow. But then saying that it's possible, right? When I was in Daytona, there was Darkrai and Garb and Friends everywhere. Like, it was just Turbo Dark and Garb and Friends. And there was like 2 Trevenant players. One of them managed top 4. Didn't play a single Darkrai through the whole tournament.
Yep.
Wow.
Dodged all of them.
Yeah.
So it's possible.
Yeah.
Sounds like the total opposite of me in Norwich League Cup. Thought I played 7. It's a really good idea. Rounds 1 through 4, I played all Darkrai.
He was the sackiest guy. Going to a dark heavy expanded tournament with Trev and dodging all the dark. Amazing.
Sort of like a standard with Lapras and hitting 4 Volks, though, is it?
I'm going to go for something that's current meta that's been tweaked. I don't know what.
It's Guardy.
No, Paw Patrol or Tord, I think. Tord's list. Just tweaked with some new cards.
Tord's list is Zora.
Or something with, I don't know, I quite like Garb. I don't know. Something that's been around for a while, whether it's like Golly Garb or Paw Patrol or something. It's just been tweaked with some newer stuff. One thing I know is after not making top 64, I don't think Tord will be playing his list again.
No. Another quick bet is how many Cynthia do you think is going to be in the decks? Like the top decks. Think of top 8. How many Cynthia do you think are going to be in each deck?
One. At least 3.
Or
at least 3.
Good question.
Tom, did you say 1?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it's going to be 0 or 1.
I personally really, really rate the card. I think it's fantastic. However, I just don't see it being as meta-defining as people think, because it's not just, you're refreshing your own hand, but the whole point, the reason N is good is it's a double-edged sword, but it disrupts your opponent as well. Cynthia is just, give me a new fresh hand, and from experience, when I used to play Shauna, because I used to be a scrub, I'd just draw the same 5 cards again.
Yep. That's exactly.
So I'm gonna say 2.
Like your Sycamore, you play all your playable cards out. You then Sycamore for a fresh 7. If you're Cynthia, what's her name?
Cynthia.
Awesome. So if you're Cynthia, because you reserve or keep your cards, whatever, you just then draw the same crap again.
I mean, I can see Cynthia being a lot higher in things like maybe Stall, and obviously Gajam Lucario, but that's obviously Cynthia.deck. But for normal decks, I can honestly just see they're just scrapping, they pretty much entirely all playing 1 like they do with a Tech Lily.
That's interesting.
While decks remain as aggressive as they are right now.
Yeah.
I think it's
all reserved.
Still going to be inconsistent though, because there's a stage 2.
You just have to play a lot of Eva Sodas, but it's the same with all stage 2 decks. So that's the chance you take, right? You set up and smash people in the face for the 1-hit KOs, or you go for a 2-hit KO deck, and that's kind of where the meta is at the moment. You go for the consistently not consistent decks, but the consistent draw engine of a 2-shot format. Or you take a chance on Bulu or Guardy or Garchomp and go for a stage 2 where you're going to take a 1-hit KO every time if it sets up.
It's
whether you take that risk. And the good thing about Garchomp is you're only giving up 1 prize and it goes down. Where the Guardy and the Bulu go down, you're giving up 2 prizes. Yeah. So for me, if I was going to take that chance, I would probably look at Garchomp for that exact reason, because they've got to take 6 prizes so they've got to take 6 KOs rather than the 3.
Yeah.
I've got the same risk reward, but it's making the opponent's job harder because they've got to take 6 prizes.
Albeit, when I used to play Garchomp, if you remember, that was my favourite deck when I first started. It was really hard to keep streaming further Garchomps.
Yeah.
And you could typically get 2 set up during a game, but to get 3 or 4 when your opponent keeps knocking you out is really hard on a stage 2.
Yeah.
150 HP though, it's the stage 2 deck, the decks, Galissapod's 120, isn't it? So it's not knocking it out when it comes in unless it's using the GX. Paw Patrol, what's that? 120.
120.
Yeah.
So again, they're having to 2-shot you.
Because they can't. One of the few things that Buzzwole.
Buzzwole can show you. Well, Guardy's obviously going to 1-shot it because of weakness, but the 2 main decks, Bulu. But the advantage, I guess, it's got as well with the Lucario draw engine, where you effectively get a couple of those things set up. You've got 2 computer searches every time.
Yeah.
You just get whatever you want.
That's for free as well. There's just no cost to that. It's just search there for a card. It's like Pidgeot in a way.
Yeah, search. Need a rare candy? Fine, let's go and get one. And then hit a Sycamore. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
Then hit. Sorry, Cynthia. You're not going to hit a Sycamore because you're not going to hit any more than 100. Then hit Cynthia. So I don't know. Need to test it. I really like it, but it's that risk reward thing you take on stage 2s. It nearly paid off for me in Leipzig, but I had the curse of stage 2 decks in 4 games. 4 months.
Unfortunately, that's the game we play.
The chance you take with the stage 2 deck, wasn't it? That's the risk I took. So nearly paid off, but
I did kind of force you into it though, so.
Well, you did, because I did actually take Buzz Lycanroc as well, and you told me Pierce he could borrow my Rock Ruffs. You actually gave my Rock Ruffs away before I'd actually made the decision up on what I was going to play.
To be fair, it was probably a better Sharp playing card anyway, because as you said earlier, you explained to, was it Kirkham, Luke Kirkham, was it? Who said, nah, it's not the play. Clearly was. It was a really, really good play.
If you had drawn a lot better, then you would have won more games. So
it was. I mean, yeah, the games I lost, they weren't because of misplays or anything. It was just literally dead hands. I mean,
Shuffle better.
That's what I did.
I know somebody could teach you a few bits about shuffling.
Oh God!
Hope you've got plenty of time to learn.
Time around, gentlemen.
I haven't started yet.
Started yet?
I've got 54 mulligans to take.
You know what? I think it just happens sometimes. When I took Bulu to Liverpool in top 64, I only dead drew once in the 9 games. It's just the nature of stage 2 decks, isn't it? It is what it is, right? It's the chance you take. Okay. All the testing hands me and Tubbs played in the couple of days leading up to it, I very rarely dead drew. Just
yeah.
That's how it goes.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
shit luck, right? So
yeah.
It is what
cool. And we used to call it Tubbs luck, didn't we? And now look at him, he's stopping regionals left, right, and centre.
Right, gents, I'm signing off.
Up there, guys.
Okay, yeah, me too as well.
Yeah, well, thank you, guys.
Thanks as ever. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done in Germany, guys.
Trubbish for life.
Thanks, guys.